The meeting will come to order. Good evening, everyone. This is a meeting of the Lakeville Conservation Commission. It's June 8th, 2021. My name is Bob Bouchard and I'm the conservation agent. We'll do the roll call next. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Joe?
Present.
Nancy?
Present.
Mark?
Present.
John?
Present.
Josh? Absent, and myself. Now, what about those that may also wish to speak? Do we have any engineers or butters, interested parties? If you could identify yourselves, please.
Jamie Bissonette, Zenith Consulting Engineers.
And then, as I mentioned, Mr. Chair, the lady from 45 Shore Ave, I think hasn't been on a Zoom meeting prior and does not have the sound portion of the Zoom downloaded, and she's not able to get it done, I think, during this meeting.
All right, well, what we can do is if we can't get it corrected, we can just either open it or continue it or just postpone it altogether.
Yeah, and Heidi, I'll do this in chat as well, but if she can hear us, you can communicate with us as best possible in the chat. And we'll just have to read those into the record if you think that's all right, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Couldn't she also, isn't there a phone number that she can call into? We won't have the video, but we can have the audio.
Yeah, and actually, it wouldn't create interference if her audio is not working.
Right.
Yeah, I'll send her the phone number right now.
Okay.
While we're on this topic, there was a plan that she was submitted after the fact, and I don't know if everybody got a copy of it. It's in addition to the sketch map that came along with the application.
And I didn't see, I only saw the sketch.
Oh, okay. That might be another factor in postponing it if we can't get that information out to everybody.
Okay.
Well, let's cover some other business rather. The first item actually on the agenda is LeBaron Hills, and they've requested another continuance. So somebody could make a move.
Make a motion to continue the LeBaron Hills hearing on the ORAD.
Okay,
I'll second.
that's
Oh,
second.
date and time specific.
Yep, you're right. Let me just, did they request a specific date, Mr. Chair, or would the June 22nd, our next meeting, be the best at 7 p.m.?
They did not give us a date. So why don't we just do it to the next time and we can always do it again.
All right, to clarify, I'll restate the motion. Make a motion to continue the LeBaron Hills hearing for the ORAD until the Conservation Commission June 22nd meeting at 7 p.m.
Second.
Second, with discussion, please.
Discussion, yes.
Have we heard anything at all back from them?
We did.
Besides the initial thing we got from Scott saying that they didn't like it, or Brad, it was Brad.
Yeah, we did get a letter from them and basically saying we're not done, but we want to continue. So
Okay.
nothing new, no.
Okay. Thank you.
So any more discussion? We're all good. All those in favor? Joseph,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and I say aye. So motion carries. We'll
I
continue.
think we just picked up Josh.
Mr. Chair, I think Josh just joined. If you want to just state that or have him call for the record for attendance, that he is present now.
All right, let the record reflect that Joshua has joined us. And did you hear the vote, Josh, that we just had?
Yes, I did. I'm in favor of that. Aye.
Okay, so again, let the record reflect that as well. All right, good. So while we're still waiting for some technical issues, let's continue on. Yeah, all right, let's do that. First on next on the agenda rather is 5 Harding Street, Lot 1, Bella's Way. That's an NOI. Yeah, I believe it's Zenith that's covering it.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Chair and board members. This is Jamie from Zenith Consulting Engineers for the record. If I may share my screen, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Oh. Kevin, can you give me access?
Yes, 1 second.
Thank you.
All right, try now.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
All right. All right. So before you tonight, we have a notice of intent for part of the 5 Harding Street parcel. I believe we have been in front of you for this 39 Cross Street Bella Way subdivision in Harding Street countless times. I do know that I met the chairman of the commission out on site, and we looked at ways to access the area for proposed turtle nesting that we're doing in compliance with the requirements of the endangered species people at Natural Heritage. Anyways, for minimizing impact overall in buffer zone and resource area, we felt that accessing over lot 1, putting down a couple of temporary steel plates over the drainage ditch, which is delineated as a connection for a BVW, but it's very narrow and very shallow in that area, so that we can have temporary disturbance with a 6-inch, 2 6-inch pipes underneath for any type of drainage flow, would give us the ability to access across to the area needed for us to construct the turtle nesting area. As you can see in this vicinity here, the turtle nesting area, right now it's mostly shrubs and small trees and some invasives that are growing up throughout. Those are going to be taken down flush with the ground. And then sand is going to be brought in. On average, there should be about 12 inches of sand placed over this entire area. We're proposing to keep 5-foot wide rows in this area to help with any type of wind screenage. We do have trees that wrap around this area and here, and they actually come over in here with growth that is coming into this area in here as well. But as kind of a baffle wall effect, we're looking to keep 5-foot sections of this lower growth going forward so that we can place the sand around it. Part of the turtle nesting features, they'll have berms of sand constructed, which will help for areas where the turtles can actually lay their eggs in. This work so far on site for the turtle protection has been with Dan Wells, biologist. We're hoping to continue to have him do the turtle nesting areas. He's done all the turtle protection plan and everything else up to this point. So with that being said, hoping to get a order of conditions tonight. I know we do not have a DEP file number, but we'd like to proceed with hopefully getting that order of conditions and have it issued once the file number is issued. And I'll answer any questions you might have.
All right, let's start with Joe. Do you have anything?
Is there some signage of some sort associated with this project?
There's a ton of signage.
Okay.
So the entire site along the conservation restriction areas, Joe, have numerous bounds, rebars with caps, and placards that are being installed. The bounds have been installed. The rebars with caps have been installed. Right now, the signs are created, and I believe they may go in as early as this week, and they wrap around both parcels in the area of conservation restriction on both sides.
Okay.
All right, good. Nancy, what about you?
I guess I'm kind of confused, Jamie. I did talk to Jamie today about this, but the actual notice of intent, is it just for this?
Just for this.
Because I didn't have that in my packet. I got maps. I got the whole, that's why I called Jamie, because the whole conservation management permit, which is, we discussed how many pages long, was in here, but I didn't see the actual notice of intent.
I have it.
You do?
Yep.
All right, well, it didn't get in my packet. I have my packet right here.
It was
So-
tucked inside the big plan. At least mine was.
Yeah,
Me
nope,
too.
nope. Anyway, so I guess that's why I'm a little confused.
Actually, Nancy, when I was in town hall on Monday, I was talking to Lori. She said you had picked yours up.
Not the notice, I picked up my packet, but it wasn't in my packet, which is
Oh.
fine. It's okay. I'm
Okay.
just thinking about how to do an order of conditions. We have a standard order of conditions for replication, but I don't know about an order of conditions for the, was anything suggested by Natural Heritage, Jamie?
No, and again, the comprehensive permit that you and I talked about earlier today,
Yep,
that is what's requiring this work.
Right.
The big thing that they've been talking to us about is to make sure we keep our biologist happy, and he's reporting directly to them. So I sent this plan over to Dan Wells, again, who is the on-site biologist for this, and he did give it the thumbs up. The concept of this area did have to be approved ahead of time by Natural Heritage as well. So it's, the thing that we're changing a little bit is the access to get back here,
right,
where we already have an access road built to right about here for the well.
yep,
It just kind of makes sense to go through this flat area to get there. Right now,
Right.
there's a gravel road that runs up and down, but I walked that with Derek from Red Lawns and also Mr. Bouchard, and we looked at between the debris that's in the front here and the quality of the gravel road itself, bringing 10 wheelers up and down it, it would definitely become an issue. I don't think structurally, and Derek told us definitively, structurally, it's not something we want to do.
right.
This-
I agree. I totally agree. I'm just confused about how to make a motion on the order of conditions and what we should use for an order of conditions.
I understand. I understand. I wish I could help you on that.
Okay,
Well,
so, yeah,
we could draft something up and circulate it to everyone and make, we close the hearing pending final approval of the order of conditions.
Can we approve that outside of a meeting?
Good question.
well, we have a meeting in 2 weeks. Why don't we, I don't mind working on it, and I'll work on it with Jamie.
Is that, Jamie, is that an issue if it's 2 weeks from now?
I don't think it's the end of the world.
Do you mind working on it with me?
Not at all, Nancy. I'd be happy to.
Okay, all right,
Jamie, you must have received from the person you were talking to, the biologist. There must be optimum times of the year to put something like this in, right? And we're probably past the turtle nesting time right now. So you probably got 8 or 9 months to get this done, right?
Yeah, so April 15th and October 15th are the windows where
Right.
the turtles are out and they're going to be closer to the open areas in the warmer months. They go into the woodlands to burrow, at least this species, during the winter. So what we did was we've had the entire area wrapped with turtle fence, which you and I know is silt fencing. And we've had it inspected by the biologists. They do the turtle sweeps, make sure everything is good to go if need be. And then they want this stabilized, and I believe in place, hopefully prior to October 15th, so that when the turtles do make their way back, it starts their natural progression, I guess.
Okay.
I believe also we can, Mr. Chairman, I believe that we can close the hearing and say we will issue an order of conditions at our next meeting. I think other commissions do that. A lot of commissions don't do the orders of conditions right at the meeting. So, but
Actually,
we can close the hearing,
that's a fairly common practice
right?
in other commissions.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Jamie, is this NOI for access to the area, or is it for the actual construction of the turtle habitat?
That's a great question, John. I believe the emphasis is really on the access to it, but because this area has been shown on previous plans,
Right.
but for full disclosure to abutters, to boards, so Bob doesn't get phone calls from people screaming and yelling. This is just a redundancy for the turtle nesting area as well, that he and I discussed and felt would be better to play safe than sorry. But we definitely needed this for the crossing, for the access.
Yeah, I thought that the turtle nesting area had already been approved through another notice of intent.
Yeah, it really has.
So all we're doing is allowing access through lot 1, Bella Way.
That is,
Yeah,
Is that true or?
I believe that to be correct.
yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
But is there any order of conditions that's been issued so far about, just your basic things about staying in the habit? I mean,
It's
Didn't
really,
we do that at the beginning on the whole,
Full package.
the whole package?
Yeah.
it's part of the big original 5 Harding Street order of conditions. You know, and I, off the top of my head, it's probably a year ago that it was issued. I don't know if we have the safeguards that Nancy's mentioning for the construction of the nesting area. All of that being said, there's really, except for our crossing area in here, there's really not a resource that's super close. We're staying pretty well off the resource over in here. The resource keeps going down this way. And then the river for the Bucoy Brook is well down here. So our biggest concern for resource areas would be right in this vicinity here where we're showing the plates and the erosion controls for temporary disturbance.
Mr. Chairman, I don't think it'd be really difficult, but I just feel kind of obligated since I've been pushing this from the very beginning and working with everybody. I just want to make sure all the bases are covered because Natural Heritage, Wildlands Trust, there's a lot of people involved here. And I don't think, we're not saying that we don't, I mean, I'm fully in favor of it and would be willing to, you know, say we'll close the hearing and issue an order of conditions at our next meeting.
My,
And I think,
I have an issue with that, only because
Okay.
we've already issued an order of conditions that pertains to the nesting area, and that's what you're concerned with.
Right, but we don't
But
know that.
access
I don't
to-
know what it looks like.
Well, but that's not their problem, that's our problem.
Right, but Jamie just said he wasn't sure that there were conditions for the construction of it. I mean, I think it would be, like I say, my name's in this report, that I will keep an eye on the project. So I just,
I get that, the issue here is access, not the construct. There's nothing in here that tells you how they're gonna construct the turtle habitat.
right, but we don't know if there were any conditions, what the original order, Jamie said it's a year old, right, Jamie? And we don't know what's in there?
I've pulled it up right here.
Okay.
And here, hold on, I'll actually screen share this.
Okay,
We can take a quick peek through. That might actually help us resolve this.
okay,
what we could do, Nancy, is with the new order of conditions, reference the previous one and sort of clarify it and explain why we're doing what we're doing.
Right. if
And
it's in there.
if it's in there, and if not, when you read the regulations for a notice of intent, it allows for modification. If it's over a certain point, if it's too much of a modification, then you have to do an amendment or a whole new order of conditions, but you are allowed to make revisions.
All right, so it was issued in October of 19, so a little bit more than, probably closer to a year and a half, just estimating. And let's get to our special. It appears that there. All right, so degraded area, 2 milestones, construction commission, commence of each milestones complete, the commission. Gravel pathway which exists across the river barricaded with no access now. Yeah, and we're actually keeping this true with the gravel pathway which exists on Cross Street will
Yeah.
be barricaded and no access will be allowed, which is part of why this. Now, I'm not seeing any.
Will you go back to that one more time?
Sure, absolutely.
That we just were, you went away too fast.
I'm sorry, did it catch up?
Okay, yep. Okay, so do we have that list? I mean, do we need to, then we need to say that again, I think.
Yes,
List of significant milestones for review and approval before construction by the commission. Commission will be notified. Yeah, I mean, realistically, what we've been doing so far is we've just, every time that we're proposing something, we call Mr. Bouchard and we invite him down to the site, and I've met him out there on a few occasions for Bella. We haven't really started any of the construction on Harding Street except for the installation of the turtle barrier. But we would be doing the exact same thing, a site meeting before the start of construction and just going over how we're going to do the construction. What we did was we met with Derek, Bob, and myself on site on both projects.
I was there today again, and it looks really good.
Excellent. And we also have Bob Gray from Sebacia. He's been monitoring it and issuing letters on the replication area. So he's been on top of it. He's been there several times as well.
All right, I would be good with us referencing these conditions again.
Yeah, me too. That's good.
Okay, is that a compromise?
I think that makes great sense.
Okay.
Could
And
I say something,
off
Chair?
the number, what's the I'm sorry, John, what's the number? Special conditions off of the order, what's the SE 192?
Yep, it's 192-831.
Mark, did you have a question?
Yeah, I know we're not discussing the specific construction of the turtle area, but I did have some questions about that because I think that those rows of vegetation you're leaving are kind of new, or that wasn't in the 2019 plan that we saw.
Mark, you're 100% correct.
And I understand that this access road that you're providing is a better access road than that, what would have been maybe a shortcut road to take the one off Cross Street. So this is an improvement. And so again, you had mentioned leaving the 3 5-foot strips of vegetation amongst this, and I'm sure that an expert has said that that's better for the turtle habitat. I guess my question is, you said there's 12 inches of sand going all around that.
Mhm.
Are you going to put the sand on top of the existing, we'll call it topsoil, because that's upland?
Yep.
Or is some topsoil going to be removed so that the sand isn't mounded and eventually just going to go into the bases of those 3 rows?
So what ends up happening from my understanding is once the vegetation is ground down, cut down, I believe that they plan on using a grinder, almost like a big sized chipper that's mounted to the front of a skid steer.
Yep.
Once that is done, the biologist is going to go out on the site with myself and the contractor and determine then what the next step for prepping the base is going to be. As far as the organic content or any type of stump, if any type of small stump removal needs to happen prior to the sand coming in. But prior to the sand coming in, the biologist signs off on the condition.
Okay, it would seem that leaving a lot of the roots in there would be somewhat counterproductive to the sand kind of being the ultimate goal of having that gravel meadow for the turtle that they like. That said, I'm fully in support of this getting built. I guess I just want to make sure that it gets built right and it doesn't fail. And I just want to be clear. So if a lot of that topsoil with the roots in it that aren't part of those 3 rows needed to be removed, I just want to understand, would that stuff be trucked out if needed across that same access road?
Exactly. Anything that we do for construction on this area is going to go through that road. The reason for any type of a time urgency is I know the developer would like to build a house on lot 1, but he understands that this is by far his best access to that area. Also, getting this in place prior to the fall where the turtles start to go back into the woods, I believe is also ideal. That way we can have our inspections squared away as well. So what we can do if it makes everybody feel better is what we've been doing, which is when we have an on-site meeting, we'll call Bob. Bob could even meet the biologist, myself, and Derek out on site to make sure that that he's hearing firsthand as well what the steps are that need to be taken on each inspection.
Yeah, I definitely would be in support of Chairman Bouchard coming out as the agent to take a look at as things progressed. And again, I really want to see this built right. So if material did have to come out, and we all understand the access road, and that's what would be used, I just don't want to see a corner cut and it fail. Again, I'm in support. And just to be clear on the plan, on the western edge of the proposed turtle habitat, the nesting area, that's where are you 50 feet from the wetland line, or is it more than that?
I believe that you are correct when you say this is 50 feet.
Yeah. And along that southern kind of straight angled edge that leads to the access road, is that just the drainage swale? That would be the only concern.
Well,
Is that really not a wetland?
No, it's flagged as a BVW because it's connecting the swale that has the hydric vegetation in here, the wetland vegetation, and it does flow back and connect to this larger wetland system. So it's definitely considered a wetland.
And all of the dashed lines that encompass that area, and not those ones, the dashed lines that are along the access road in and around the actual turtle nesting area, that's the turtle silt fence.
Oh, this area, I'm sorry. Yes, this is the silt fence in here, and this is installed.
Yeah.
In this
And it comes
vicinity.
right out on the access road on either side of the plates.
That's correct. Yeah. So the area that's not done is there's a small section right in here that we'll have to have looked at by the biologist and then connected and opened up.
But the entire area is protected.
100%.
Yeah. So, okay. I'd like to hear what you end up doing. So please report to the chairman.
Okay.
About how that construction happens, because it would seem like you'd want the sand, where sand kind of flows so easily, to be at the same level as the root mass of the trees or vegetation you leave. So, but I have no further questions, Mr. Chair. I'm in support.
Okay, good. So Jamie, you'll just notify me whenever there's new activity and any changes.
That's correct. Yeah, I set the appointments up between the parties, and so I'll just make sure, as we've been doing on Bella, that you get notified, and that way when we make sure you can make it out the same time as well.
Okay, great. All right, where do we leave off? John, did you have any more questions?
Nope.
No, good. Josh, what about you? Did we lose you?
No, I'm all set. Sorry,
All
technical
right, good.
difficulties over here.
So did I get everyone? No?
Yep.
Okay, so,
Okay, I will make a motion that we close the hearing and issue an order of conditions that include that the turtle expert, Dan Wells, will supervise the project, and his contact information will be made available to the agent, and that all conditions in SE 192-830 be included.
and can we say, and it also includes any conditions of the previous NOI?
Well, that's it.
That's it.
That's 192-830.
Oh, that's what that is, okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
The only other thing, Nancy, is didn't we want to make it contingent on a DEP number?
Yes,
Yeah, they always are, but yes, that's fine.
yes, and contingent on receiving the DEP number.
And if I may, is there any chance after the reference on Dan Wells, can we add in
Or other, because he's changing.
exactly if there's he's
All right,
thank you.
all right. So that include turtle expert Dan Wells or other
Qualified biologists.
right, qualified turtle experts.
Sure.
Dan Wells or other qualified individual. And that information, whoever it is, be provided to the agent so he can contact them directly if he needs to, if he's on site and sees something. And that all conditions in SE 192-830, which is the previous NOI, be included, and not before we receive a DEP number.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Joe,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
John,
I,
Josh?
Aye.
Yes, oh, and myself, aye. Okay, motion carries then.
Thank you.
So you're all set, Nance?
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's move on then. Again with Zenith, so we have 8 Priscilla. This is an RDA.
Again, good evening, Jamie Bissonette, Zenith Consulting Engineers for the record. We have 8 Priscilla Drive for Mr. Robert and Justine Palucci. If I may share the screen, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
I believe I've met both Chairman Bouchard and Nancy Yates out on the site to discuss what we're proposing. As you can see, the house sits on Long Pond. It has a retaining wall with a fence and a nice landscaped yard facing the water. The applicant is looking to do a couple of landscaping items in previously disturbed area, and we wanted to just go over those with you. The first is over in this
Jamie,
vicinity.
before you get too far, can you increase the size of that, please?
Absolutely, Joe. Sorry about that.
There we go. That's a lot better.
That's
Thank
better,
you.
all right. So the first of which is there, as we sit here today, there's crushed stone that's in this area that kind of runs down over into here, and there's access over to where there's a pier. Most people refer to it as a dock that is seasonal, goes in and out of the water. What happens is when we get heavy rains and the such, that stone will actually start to creep down the hill, and the owner of the property is kind of sick and tired of having to rake it back every year. So he wants to take and remove it and replace this area with nice loam and seed so it's stabilized and he's not having to fix it every when spring is done every year. That's item number 1. Item number 2 is in the back of the house, he has an existing concrete patio. Now, the majority of it, in fact, probably all of it, is outside of the 100-foot buffer, but he's still planning on taking some of it up and replacing it with a new patio in its place. When you walk on the patio, while it's in decent shape, there are areas of cracks and areas that could definitely use to be leveled and repaired. So he's going to be doing that work as well. Thirdly, over on the side, there is an area that needs to be spruced up. Right now, it's mulch with filter fabric underneath, with some landscaping. The filter fabric is exposed in a lot of areas, as Nancy and I observed. And instead of putting additional mulch down there, he'd like to pull that back and again stabilize with loam and seed as a long-term solution for stabilization and aesthetics. As a fourth note, he's proposing a 20 by 28 pavilion over in this area. Again, the 100-foot buffer line cuts right through the building, so the majority of it is out of the 100-foot buffer, but there is a section that's within it. And so we wanted to show that on the plan. And also as part of this, he's looking to plant a couple of shade trees. I told him that it'd be nice for us to demonstrate in a general manner where they were going to go. He's still not sure of the species, but he's looking to do something deciduous that will grow semi-rapidly and give him some shade in the yard here. So this is where he estimated that he'd be looking to place the trees to provide the shade. Realistically, that is it. That is within the 100-foot buffer for jurisdiction. And so We're asking for a negative determination so that this work can be done. As part of the proposal, we're looking to run an erosion control silt sock up along the front and encompassing so that there's no chance of erosion getting by us bringing it up over on the sides on each side past any potential work. Again, this is all nice stabilized lawn in the center here that I'm sure would pretty much handle just about anything thrown at it. But that's our request.
One question, Jamie, on the landscaping, you're talking about the third item.
Yes, sir.
Is that a one-time shot that related to the work that's being done, or is it a long-term maintenance item?
Right here, well, we're taking out the filter fabric and the mulch, and we're looking to put in loam and seed. So hopefully it'll be a long time solution to it, where he just has to cut the loam, cut the seed going forward.
Okay,
So this would present a much better long-term stabilization scenario for the pond and for the resident.
good, okay. All right, so questions from the commission. Joseph?
Jamie, I don't see elevation lines. What do we got there? A slope, B slope?
It's actually in the front here, Joe. It's pretty flat. We get down to the pond, it drops very quickly. And then there's also quite a bit of pitch from the back of the house up to the front of the house. There's 2 stepped retaining walls on this side, and there's a wall over in here with quite the slope coming down. So it's actually a very, not for the most part, there is a little bit, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a little bit of a drop right in here, correct?
Yeah.
And then this is pretty nice and flat. Up in here is nice and flat. So I guess you have a little bit of a dip in here.
Yeah,
Probably,
a little bit of a hill in the backyard.
yeah, like 2 feet maybe.
Yeah, if that.
And it goes down to relatively flat. It's got a nice slope towards the pond. The real slope is in here and over in here.
Where a lot of the work is being proposed is basically a slope.
Yeah, for the most part, that's
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
Over in here, Joe, just in full disclosure, there is, again, this is pretty flat. It does get a little steeper here, and this has some pitch to it as well. But again, that's going to be solving the stone from running down this hill where it's really steep.
Okay.
All right. Nancy?
Well, where the closest work seems to be going, besides the trees, where they're removing the existing filter fabric and mulch, which is not pervious, and putting in the grass, that's much better solution to what's there for recharge. So, and most of all of this work is pretty far out of the,
Yeah, right.
Yep, I know it's hard.
even though the 50-foot doesn't show up really clear on what you're showing us, it's still, most of it's out of there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The 50-foot runs in here. Yeah, and the 100-foot, again, and I know, I think the prints I gave the commission show this better. It's the scanner, you lose some of the quality once you scan it.
Right.
But the 100-foot runs right in here as well. So you're right, the 50-foot, except with the exception of the trees, maybe a little bit of this where we're going to be putting in, lawn and seed.
Yeah, you're taking out the impervious and making it pervious. It's a better solution, and the lawn's very nice. That's the best
It's also very
solution you
flat.
could have, right?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
All right, thanks, Nancy. Mark?
I think most of the work that's shown on the plan here is fairly innocuous, and most people would do it without even asking. I think that the proposed pavilion is the only thing we should really be looking at, and it's half out of the buffer zone. So I think overall, everything he's proposing is very positive and not a lot of impact. I do think we should find a negative determination.
Okay, good. John, do you wish to comment?
I really can't. I'm
Yeah.
a next door neighbor.
That, I know, that's, just wanted it for the record.
Yep.
Oh, and Josh?
I have no comment.
All right, good, thanks. So,
All right, I make a motion that we issue negative determination number 3 with one condition, which is please inform the agent when the siltation barrier has been put in for review.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
that.
All right. All those in favor? Joseph,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Josh,
Aye.
and I say aye. So motion carries.
Excellent. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Have a
All
good
right.
night, Jamie.
Also.
All right, Kevin, how are we doing with speaking to Heidi?
She hasn't responded to me since I sent her the number to call in. She's tried multiple times to join via Zoom on her phone, but she has not connected her audio yet.
And she can't hear us on her cell phone because I see that on the screen.
As far as I know, I don't think she's hearing us.
We just tried calling her directly. I mean, is that what you've been doing?
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah,
are we gonna be able to have our next meeting in person? Has that been determined yet?
it hasn't been determined, or at least I haven't heard. And so far, we've actually made plans to have another virtual meeting.
Okay, all right. I was just gonna say that would solve it. We'll just have her come to the next meeting, but I guess that's a
Right.
ways off.
Rumor has it that it's going to be September before we go back to the old ways.
Yeah, the selectmen have been beating that one around for a while because we're having so many meetings and with a limited number of places to have those meetings physically.
Yeah. So the answer to your question, Nancy, I don't know, but I wouldn't get my hopes up.
I did see something, Mr. Chairman, I did see something from the state about conservation. And I'll have to look for it again and forward it to you, but if the state determines there's no more Zooms for conservation, then we'll have to do something.
Well, I think,
MACC sent us something that
Right, right.
suggested we could return to the old ways, but I think the individual towns still have the final say.
Okay, all right.
All right.
I see Heidi showed up. Can we hear her? I don't
We
think
could
so.
get her to try to call that number. It's a pretty sure thing that the call-in number will work.
We actually have on the app, on the request, we have what I assume is either a house number or a cell phone number.
Yeah.
Do you have that, Kevin?
I do not.
Okay, let me give you the number and you can call her, okay? You
All right,
ready?
type it in the chat because we are live.
Oh, okay.
good idea.
Okay, where's my keyboard? Chat.
Modern technology.
Yeah, I'm
Do
too.
we have her permission to put her number
Yeah, I
on a
was gonna
broad?
say, I'm not sure that I want to put her phone
Yeah,
number.
Right, on a broad, we're being recorded. She might not want her phone number on a public meeting.
Now it shows on the screen that her phone is connecting to audio.
Yeah.
Does it say that?
Yeah, it's been
That's what I'm seeing. Yeah,
been saying that
connecting
for
to
a while.
audio.
It's like it's thinking.
And that's her iPhone. It's thinking.
She looks bored. I don't blame her a bit.
Can we do the minutes or something while we're waiting?
Sure. Did everyone have a chance to read them? Look them over?
I did. I found one, I think, was the two teeny little typographical errors, and I'll see that those get corrected. So I'll make a motion that the Conservation Commission minutes for the March 9th, 2021 meeting be approved as slightly modified.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second it.
All right. All together now, in favor? Say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Any other ideas?
I re-messaged her the call-in number. I don't know if she's getting my messages though.
I don't think so. She's looking awfully anxious.
Well, we've had a situation before where we have an RDA and there really wasn't anyone here to, anyone present physically at our meeting to handle it, and we proceeded anyway.
Yeah, but this way she doesn't have a chance to respond to any questions or any issues.
And we haven't seen the other plan. You said there's another plan. We haven't even
Yeah.
seen it yet.
It's just a little bit more detailed. It's not, there's no
Okay.
real new information. At least that's what she told me on the phone. Josh?
Mr. Chair, through you, Kevin, if Joe sends you her phone number directly through the chat instead of to the group, does that still show to everyone?
The chat's completely hidden. It's only technically public record, but nobody will see it right now live.
Let's try it.
Well, I went to chat, Kevin, and I don't see where I could send this.
If you see in the chat, you see 2 and how it says to everyone.
Yeah,
Let me try it, Kevin.
Okay, yeah,
I'm sending it just to you, though.
okay. Yep, I see it.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna call her, so I'll be right back.
now her phone icon popped up, so that means
Yeah, me too.
either she's getting to us or Kevin's getting to her.
She should have audio if
Hello?
that phone icon's on.
Whoa,
Hey,
we
hi,
can hear you.
Heidi.
Hi.
Nice to hear your voice. You must have been ready to
This is
give up on
crazy.
us.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I was ready to give up on myself.
Well, I don't blame you. Sorry for all the wait, but looks like
No.
we've got things resolved. Would you, we've talked about it a little bit, but maybe you could just give us a brief summary of your project?
All right. All I plan to do is there's a screen porch attached to the back of the house, which is nearest the pond. And it's wasn't constructed the best. It's got the rot and all that. So what I want to do is take the screen porch down. And what they had put there is on each side was like 4 storm doors
Mm-hmm.
on each side, and then they put 6 in the front plus a storm door that will come in and out of. So what I want to do is just take the whole thing down, put new construction properly, strengthen it, and put in double hung windows and some awning windows underneath. Basically, better roof and all that stuff. And for the outside of the house itself, it has partial siding on it. So it wasn't done properly either. But anyways, I want to take that down and have the whole house redone with new siding and at the same time put in new double hung windows that are there and new doors.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, I think that's it, really.
All right.
You do,
I have a question.
Mark, go ahead.
So the siding in the windows wouldn't be really our major concern. We wouldn't want any debris to blow into the lake, but on the screen porch that you're going to rebuild, are you going with a new foundation under that? And if you are, what type of foundation?
No, I'm gonna go on the existing footprint, which is a concrete pad that's already there.
Yeah. It's,
So in theory, you're really not doing
19, I think it's 19 feet. I have
Yeah.
it written down somewhere.
19'9" or
Yeah.
something out in your plan.
so it's
Um,
relatively the same size. And just when I went out to look at it, the pad for the patio, the existing patio, is a combination of mostly concrete, but stone and some brick and whatnot. It's not going anywhere. And so that's going to be basically the foundation.
So there would be no excavation, I guess, is my
No excavation would be necessary.
No.
No adding of further impervious area.
No,
Right.
no.
home run.
Silt barrier? There'll be
Sorry?
will there be some kind of a silt fence or what do they call those things?
Erosion
I suppose you could
control.
put one on
Some
either
erosion
side,
control.
on either side of the pad. Putting one on the patio would be useless, but yeah, I suppose we could put something on either side.
Will there be any soil disturbance?
No.
No, I don't think so.
Is the
No.
concrete wall that's along the edge of the lake elevated above your lawn, or is
Oh,
it
yes,
the edge of, so
Oh, it is.
does that act as a siltation barrier itself?
it would. Nothing's gonna get past it, at least not under these conditions.
Right?
No, that's why I think an RDA is appropriate.
I agree.
Heidi, you understand
Yes.
what we're proposing?
Review what you want me to do.
Well, basically to make sure that no construction debris enters the pond. That the porch itself, the concrete foundation is going to act as a means of stopping anything from getting into the pond, any overflow, any runoff or whatever. If necessary, we might require putting some kind of a silt fence on either side of the stone foundation. But I think that's a judgment we can make later on. Based on
Okay.
Mark?
Silt Fence, foundation, you say, what is that, what is that?
Well, it could be one of two things. It could be a fence, a silt fence by itself that gets implanted into the soil and it stops the runoff. Or you can put what's called a sock, and that's filled with a variety of materials, and it's like a huge sausage, and it does the same thing. It acts as a barrier for runoff.
I see.
But since
This is during the construction.
just for during the construction, right? And
Oh, okay.
only on the water side, and it would surround the porch.
Gotcha.
It's a product you could buy at a local lumberyard. It's like a black canvas that has wooden stakes attached right into the roll that are about 6 feet apart. You just drive the stakes in, and then the black canvas goes right down to the ground and stands up about 2 feet high. And that would act as that siltation barrier, as we're calling it, to stop any soil or anything that would try to erode during construction.
Your contractor who's going to be doing the remodeling should be able to do that for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have seen that around other construction areas, and it's like a big round snake or something. Yeah, I've seen that. Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay,
exactly, I don't understand exactly where that would be going, Mr. Chairman, or Mark, whoever suggested that. I thought that none of the soil was going to be disturbed.
Right.
Well, we don't want to disturb any soil. That's why I'm making it optional, that we don't have to do this. If we
Okay.
thought that digging into the soil was going to have more of an environmental impact than not, we would just skip it altogether.
I thought you said the concrete wall would act as a barrier.
where the wall is, but on either side, there's lawn.
Yeah. Yeah, but if they're not digging, I didn't really think.
They're not digging, right? So,
Not digging.
Well, could that just be I know we're not allowed to put a lot of conditions on an RDA, but a condition be that there is no soil disturbance, and if there is, they come back to us just to have an inspection of any siltation barrier.
well, that's simple enough. Sure.
Does that make sense, Nancy?
Yeah, that would be the third condition though.
All right.
So that would be about it, or return. All right, you ready? Oh,
Ready.
does anybody else have anything?
Nothing for me.
I'm hungry.
It's usually me.
All right, I make a motion that we issue a negative determination with 3 conditions. All loose materials will be covered or removed at the end of each day. So while it's going on, if there can't be stuff laying around at the end of the day that could blow into the pond. Any debris blowing into or entering the pond will be removed immediately, and no soil disturbance, or you would have to return to the agent. So no soil disturbance, or you would call the agent, we'd have to revisit it.
Okay.
Yes, that's
How's
simple
that?
enough. I don't expect to disturb any of the soil on 3
Oh.
sides of that sunroom at all, because we're going right on the pad, and at the end of the day, everything gets put out.
Way to go.
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right, so we have a motion
So I second that.
in a second. All those in favor? Joe,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
John,
I,
and Josh. Myself, I say aye. Okay, so motion carries. You're in business.
All right. Good luck, ma'am.
good luck.
You'll be
Awesome.
getting some-
Thank you very much.
You'll be getting some paperwork from us by certified mail in a few days.
Okay, I'll watch for it. Thank you, Bob, and thank you, everybody else.
You're welcome. Bye.
I'm always careful over there because it's very windy, and at the end of the day, I try to put everything away because it goes airborne. Even covers to trash barrels, they go flying. So you learn.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
All
Have a
right.
good night
Night.
and get something to eat.
Thank you.
All right. Does anyone have anything to add? Because I think we took care of all our business. No?
No, I was just going to ask about the in-person meetings, but we sort of already hit on that when we had some dead time, so I'm
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I was under the impression that the state legislature had to continue that it wasn't up to the towns. We can only do it because of the state of emergency.
I'm not sure what the situation is. It's fluid, as they say.
Yes.
Yeah, everyone has their own opinion, and it all depends on
Yeah.
what carries and what doesn't. I know various towns are doing it differently. Everyone has got their own sort of interpretation. Even what we've been doing isn't necessarily consistent with what everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
But with the open meeting law, if they say you can't Zoom anymore, you gotta meet in person, then we'd all probably have to do it.
Yeah, but question is when does it become absolute? When do you have to have it done by?
Right.
You know, and so I don't know. I guess we'll be told.
Yep.
When the time comes. So in the meantime, we've
You
scheduled
like,
our next meeting for
So we're still tentatively scheduled for the 22nd.
the 20, and we only have one, so far only one hearing.
Okay.
So do we need a motion to adjourn?
Oh, yeah.
That sounds good.
John, you usually beat me to
Motion
it.
to
Come
adjourn.
on.
I just did. I beat you to it.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.